I'm on my way to Iowa. I got the big airport pickup from Connor. He's another coach at Wichita State. So Connor's from Colorado. I'm excited for the trip. I'm heading to the airport because I'm gonna fly there and drive back. So thanks, Connor, for the ride. Thanks, dude.
Absolutely.
Yep, see you later.
Sounds good.
Got a layover in Dallas for a little over an hour. So I thought I'd give you a little update about what this trip is gonna be. Flying through Cedar Rapids through Dallas because you can't go from Wichita to Cedar Rapids directly. I thought about driving. It's about a 9-hour drive. So if I would have left after work today, would have got there maybe 2 o'clock in the morning if I just drove straight through. So I found a cheap plane ticket. I'm gonna drive back to Wichita. So that's my kind of overall plan, and seem to be able to find a reasonable rate to do it. There's storms in Iowa for the next 24 hours. So hopefully I'll be able to do what I want to do. I'll have to show you that as I get going, but I only have one hotel booked because I'm not sure about this trip and I haven't done much planning. All I know is the places that I want to go and kind of how they're clustered on a map. Welcome to Iowa. I am in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I'm here to shoot a bunch of different videos. I will have already released all of those videos, and this will be the last one. This will be like behind the scenes of the trip, similar to what I did in Arkansas. And it'll be, I think, a fun trip. It's our fall break for Wichita State University. They take a couple days off school, so I've got a couple days off work. And so I flew here after work. It's late. It's midnight basically right now, and I got an hour to drive to my hotel. And so I have a few days. So today is Thursday, just turning to Friday. So I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to do some exploring. I'll show you tomorrow exactly what I'm gonna try to do tomorrow, but probably when I wake up and see what the weather is, that'll give me a better idea if I can actually do it. So very excited to be in Iowa. I've been to Iowa many times with track and field. At Wichita State, we would always go to Cedar Falls, so a different Cedar, landing here in Cedar Rapids. But a joke I always said to people is I've never been to Iowa when it didn't snow. And so hopefully this will be the first trip that I've been to Iowa where it didn't snow. But I've always enjoyed coming to Iowa. It'll be fun searching for these little towns and cool places. I got here so late, they just left the key at the check-in for me. It's after 1 o'clock. Let's go check out the room and get some sleep. As you can see, the predicted rainfall has come this morning, and it's probably gonna rain most of the day. So I'm still hanging out here in my Econo Lodge hotel room. There's a really cool painting behind me called Run to Earth. And I looked it up, and is painted in 1892. Obviously it's a copy, but it's painted in 1892. It's about hunting, and it's a really, really cool painting. And Run to Earth means to kind of like to find something after searching for a long time. Run to Earth, I did not know that. So nice little historical tidbit here in the Econo Lodge. The rain going on and getting in so late last night is probably a good thing in a way, because I get a chance to sleep in a little bit and kind of get organized, because I don't feel very organized for this trip. And there might be a break for a couple hours in the rain today, but it's supposed to rain almost all day. So I may not get much accomplished. Today, you know, I was wanting to see a few things and get hopefully on kind of to the next part of the state. I'm not sure if I will. So let me show you at least the map to show you what I'm trying to plan. There's the state of Iowa overview. We flew into Cedar Rapids last night and then drove over to Maquoketa. That's right there by the sea. And the Econo Lodge I'm in is at Maquoketa. The letters represent, you know, ghost towns and unique places I'm interested in checking out. The numbers up there by Dubuque, those represent the 10 smallest towns in the state. So, you know, there's a cluster of about 5 in this area. There's a couple up that way, middle of the state, kind of northwest of Des Moines. And then there's a whole bunch of them in the southern part of Iowa, which will obviously be towards the end of the trip, because I'm going to start up here, work my way down this way, and right down here I'm not too far from Kansas, where I'll keep on driving home. But today we'll see what I can do. There's 3 letters. Those are actually 3 ghost towns I'd like to visit, and there's 2 of the 10 smallest towns. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that. My guess is I'll probably be staying in Dubuque tonight. The rest of the week looks much better in terms of weather, so hopefully once we get through today I can really start knocking off some of these places on the list, and there may be some I'm not able to visit, so we'll just have to wait and see. But once it turns 11 o'clock and they kick me out of this hotel, I'm going to at least go over to maybe this first ghost town and hang out and see if I'm able to film anything. The rain stopped enough for me to go to my first ghost town of Buckhorn. Pretty cool. There was actually I was on top of a cemetery which looked straight down to the old where the town was. There's a church and an old building, and a funeral procession basically came by, and they were like, "You got to get out of here." So I got that on drone of the procession of the funeral, which was different. I haven't had that happen before, but luckily the rain stopped and I was able to get my first place done. It looks like it's going to be rain throughout the day, so I just don't know how much is going to get done. Also, I was looking up to Dubuque, where there are where I'd figure it'd be a logical place to stay. I'm turning around here as I'm trying to. Oh, this is kind of cool. What is that? Let me show you what I just came upon. That was interesting. Just kind of a random house with some old buildings and Bigfoot in the backyard. So, but yeah, so I was saying that so I've been looking at hotels maybe up in Dubuque. Everything is really expensive, and I think there's probably a big football game. Everything's sold out. So I went ahead and booked an Airbnb for $100, and that was by far the cheapest thing. So not sure what the Airbnb will be. Hopefully it's just a solid place to sleep, and I can explore around that area today and then head out. Or it might start raining and I'm not able to do much at all. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm going to try to head to Rockville, which is another ghost town, and I'm going to take a little bit of a back road to get there. Probably not necessarily dirt road, but back road, and go through some towns that I didn't show in the other videos. So this will be unique to these videos, just kind of passing through, not going to stop and do like a deep dive on them, but just kind of driving through and checking out some other small towns on my way to the next ghost town. leaving Rockville and trying to figure out what to do. I think it's supposed to rain in a couple hours, so I might try to drive over to one of the smallest towns that's near in the Dubuque area. And there's a couple of them, so I'll see. Maybe I'll just go until, you know, it just starts raining and I'm not able to do any more. So if you saw the video I did about the Field of Dreams baseball field, it's right near where I'm at right now, but I want to take a little more time. Hopefully the sun will be out tomorrow. That would be my plan to visit it. So but I am really close to where that is. I'm tempted to go there now, but I wouldn't want to start making a video like that and just start raining. Well, I'm being pretty productive. I went to my first smallest town video location, Bankston. It was great. Incredible old church. I got to go inside. I'm also wearing the shirt, Buzzard's Belly t-shirt general store from Cisco, Utah. This is going to be the shirt I wear throughout the smallest towns video, and I got to remember to keep putting it on throughout the next several days to keep the continuity going. So hopefully I don't forget. So if you see this shirt on, you know that I'm either right before or right after one of those towns. And I'm actually going to try to head to another one of them next, which is called Durango, and the rain is kind of holding off. It's a little bit of a misting, sprinkling rain, but so far so good. Hopefully I can get to this one, and if I get to this one, I'll probably be done for the day. I have an Airbnb not too far from there, and I'm going to do the Field of Dreams tomorrow. I drove past it, actually, just to kind of take a peek at it, and it looked really cool. So excited to go there, but I'll save that for first thing in the morning. It always takes me a couple towns to get into a rhythm on these trips when I haven't done anything for a while. And these are some good towns that I've seen, both Bankston and Durango. I think they'll be really good additions to the 10 smallest towns in Iowa. So hopefully the rest of Iowa towns are like that. They're really unique and have some nice character to it. So now I'm going to head to Dubuque, where I'm staying for the night. I've gone to the last town or ghost town that I planned, but there is one place that I'm hoping I can get to tonight when I get to Dubuque. So I'll show you when I get there. Just rode the shortest and steepest railroad ever. I guess that's how they promote it. Pretty cool. Not every day you get to say you do something like that. But now I'm going to head to the Airbnb, get organized for tomorrow. It's starting to rain, so good timing. And hopefully we can stay on schedule and see everything we need to see in the next few days. Today's going to be a lot of driving. I got a little bit behind schedule yesterday because of the weather and just the way the morning got started. So I'm going to go to Field of Dreams, which is, very excited about the Field of Dreams. And it was one of my, favorite movies. And then I've got a long drive, a couple different long drives. I'm going to try to go see the crash site for where Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and the Big Bopper died in the plane crash. But that's a little bit out of the way for where I'm trying to go, and other things today. But I want to go see that. And then there's a couple of the smallest towns, 10 smallest towns. And if I can, I'm going to see all that and then end up near Des Moines area for the night. I don't have a hotel yet, and I'm kind of seeing how far I get, at least in the first half of the day before I figure out where I'm going to stay. So that's my hope. If I can get to Des Moines, I've got 3 days left to see all the other stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that I have to see in the next 3 days. So, but we're gonna first of all head to the Field of Dreams, and then we're gonna head west. Just left the Field of Dreams movie site. That was really, really cool. Got me a little bit, retrospective with my dad, and then the movie. I'm a big movie guy, so that was always a movie that I enjoyed. So really glad I went there. As I grow this channel and I find people that are interested in the same thing as me, I tend to not go to things that are typical tourist things. And going to the Field of Dreams movie set, it's a tourist attraction. In fact, I think it's one of the largest tourist attractions in this part of Iowa. I tend to not go to things like that, and I don't go to museums as much, and I want to go to like an old town that is not a tourist attraction and show you that. But every once in a while, going to something like that is really good, and they do a great job, and definitely worth visiting. Now I'm going to another, I guess you call it tourist attraction, but it's a long way away. I've got about 2.5 hour drive to get to the plane crash site that I mentioned earlier with Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and the Big Bopper. And I remember, I don't remember the crash, I'm not old enough, but I remember watching the movie La Bamba, and that was kind of when I was aware, I was younger, that's kind of the first time I became aware that all those guys died in the same plane crash. And so obviously, sad movie, sad time, the day the music died, as they say. And for time's sake, I'm not going to pass through a bunch of little towns like I did yesterday. I need to kind of hightail it over there so I can try to get to some of the smaller towns that I need to get to today, because I've got a lot of stuff to see in the next few days. So gonna play some good music, hit the highway, and head to northern Iowa. I just went to where the music died, and if you saw that video, it was the end of a ghost town video. Originally, when I started this trip, I was just going to pop by there and check it out. I wasn't going to really make a video about it. And then the more I was thinking about it, I was like, it probably deserves certainly a video. How do I fit it in there? And yesterday I did 2 ghost town videos, and usually I put about 3 in there. And if I only have 2, the way I make videos, the video isn't long enough. It doesn't feel like. But I thought, it's Iowa, and how else would I do that? I could make its own video. I would want to take more time and visit all the places. Actually, though, just did come down to the Surf Ballroom where they played their last gig. But yeah, if I was going to do a real in-depth video about the plane crash, I would probably be able, try to make sure I come here and I can spend a day where I can go inside the Surf Ballroom. I would go to like the airport they took off from. And here it's more of just kind of a, pass by, check it out, make a short video, and people have their interest piqued, maybe they want to go explore further and check it out. A lot of times I do these videos, I don't do them to have a complete version of a history. It's more just kind of to tell a little story, talk about a little bit. I don't have the time to do as in depth like a documentary on PBS about every place that I visit. Some people want that. Some people are like wishing that you would go into real in-depth detail about every single place. And if I was doing this for a full-time gig, maybe I'd do more of that kind of stuff. But as of right now, when I just have a few days off of work, I'm doing my best to do the best I can. So, but good stuff. Now it is 2 o'clock and I've got about 4 hours of daylight left, and there are 3 towns on my 10 smallest towns list, which is actually 12 because there's a tie for 10th, 3-way tie. But there's 3 towns I really need to get to today, and I got 40-minute drive to the next one, which is Galt. And so the next 4 hours I'm going to be kind of hustling, and hopefully I can get to the third town before the sun sets. So I still haven't booked a hotel. I'm wanting to make sure I can get through these 3 towns. If I get through the 2 and I'm on my way to the third, I'll probably feel comfortable about booking a hotel, but I'm probably just going to wait. I'm not that far from Des Moines, or I won't be that far from Des Moines eventually, so I'm sure I can find somewhere to stay in Des Moines, big city, Iowa. I visited Galt. Now I'm on my way to the town of Yetter, which is about 90 miles from Galt. Scheduled to get there at 4:30. I do think I'm going to probably run out of daylight. I don't know. It's going to be close. So, but I am at least going to get the ones that are the most furthest out of this 10 smallest towns trip. I'm going to get those knocked out. The rest of them won't be too bad. So I'm looking at probably staying somewhere in the vicinity of Des Moines. I still think I'm going to wait. Maybe I can squeeze in one more town after Yetter, but you know, sometimes you get these towns and you just spend some time there because it's interesting and there's a lot to see. So we'll see what Yetter has to offer. The race to beat the darkness is on. I went to Yetter, found a few cool things. I wasn't expecting anything really at all, and there wasn't much. And then I found one of the coolest old jails I've ever seen, and so had to take some good pictures of that. But now I have 60 miles to go to Berkeley, and I'm supposed to get there at 10 after 6, and sunset is 6:30 at this time of year. I'm filming this in the middle of October, and so if it was in the summer, I'd have more hours to do this, but I'm going to go there. It's very dark and cloudy today, so hopefully there's enough light to be able to film what I need in Berkeley. So I'm going to go there. I still haven't got a hotel yet. I want to make sure I can get through Berkeley because it's a little bit, far away from where I'm going to go next. So we'll just be, hopefully we can pick up a late night hotel that isn't too bad somewhere near Des Moines. We'll see. We're approaching Berkeley. We still have maybe one other town to drive through. I'm noticing Iowa has a lot of great small towns, and I will definitely come back again sometime and explore more and profile more of these small towns that I'm just driving through. But they're mostly just nice towns, and they've got some cool historical buildings. Water towers are a little bit different looking here than like in Kansas, the shape of them and the colors, so pretty cool. As I'm approaching, I'm going to get here at about 6:15. The sunset is supposed to be 6:37 according to my weather app. And what I'll do first is I'll probably go in and I usually go and drone last. I'll do a drone shot at the very end, kind of after I've gone around and seen everything. But because it's getting dark, I'll probably drone first because the phone, my iPhone, what I use to film everything, is really good when it gets kind of this time. The lighting is good, and it's just, you know, I don't know, some smart people figured out how to make a phone one of the greatest cameras ever. But it's really, really good. And the drone is good too, but I think just with, you know, it being a little bit darker and it's real cloudy, trying to shoot that first will probably be what I do. Normally I do it last, but yeah, we're almost there. We got about 10 minutes left. Pop through one more town, then over to Berkeley, and then we'll see if we can find a place to stay for the night. Oh yeah, I haven't had dinner yet. Let's do that too. Well, the evening trip into Berkeley, Iowa was interesting. I don't know if it was because it was getting dark or because the town is legitimately creepy, but it was eerie walking around and exploring around. And you know, there's when you're exploring these places in the day, you don't realize that at nighttime there's really no lights anywhere. And as it's getting dark, it's just dark. And there's some maybe house lights here and there, but when a lot of the places are abandoned, there's no lights. So it makes it even more strange. So anyways, got through a long day of driving. I drove, I don't know how many miles, I don't know how many hundreds of miles I drove. I probably drove over 300 miles, and with stops, and that's a lot. So I still have probably a little ways to go. I don't have a hotel yet. So, but now I'm done with what I was hoping to get done. I want to try to get near to Winterset, Iowa, because tomorrow I'm going to explore around in that area. So I'm going to look and see if there's any hotels in Winterset or anywhere near there. I got the Motel 6 in Stuart, Iowa. Looks like it's about a population, about 1,600 people. And there's 2 restaurants. So looks like there's a pub and grill. So hopefully they got a good hamburger after a long day. And I'm in Iowa, got to go to the local place and get a burger. So, but fun day, certainly. I mean, from seeing these smallest towns to Buddy Holly, you know, the day the music died, plane crash site. Started out with the Field of Dreams. It seems like that was so long ago. It was a lot. I did a lot today. 3 more days left on this trip, and I have a lot more places to see. So I'm gonna get to Stuart. I've got 45-minute drive, and get some food, and then get some rest. I paid like $5 extra for a suite. I have no idea what that means, and I don't see anything in here that makes it a suite, except I got like a table. So maybe that's worth $5. So, oh well. Good day. Had a good meal at the local place. Had some cool pictures on the wall. Had a water tower and kind of the downtown Main Street area. So that was kind of good to eat. The one place you could pretty much eat in the town has some cool history too. So long day, I'm gonna get some rest. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. It's about 9:30 in the morning here in, what town am I in? Stewart, Iowa. And I've been up for a couple hours. Sunday mornings for me are, I work for Wichita State Track and Field, and so I do some work on Sunday mornings for a couple hours. Hotel was really good. Motel 6 probably has a reputation of being, average, or, maybe not even that good of a reputation sometimes, but the one in Stewart is very good. It's very clean. Bed was good. The shower pressure was spectacular. I can give you a good review if you got good shower pressure and a clean room and a reasonably comfortable bed, and I'm going to give you thumbs up. But anyways, so today I am heading to Winterset, Iowa, and this is where the movie Bridges of Madison County was filmed. And great movie. I've always liked that movie. A big Clint Eastwood fan. And I didn't know much about like the bridges really. And you see the movie and it's kind of part of it's like a character in the movie. But when I looked at it, obviously they're all kind of like not too far from each other. There's 6 bridges that still remain. Plus there's a bridge in downtown Winterset. So I guess there's 7 bridges. So I'm just going to take today, it's about 30 minutes to get there. I'm going to drive to Winterset and I'm going to explore a little bit of the town, but mostly go to these bridges and where the movie was filmed, and then the other bridges that weren't in the movie, but are the bridges of Madison County. Make a video about that.
One to count on for your local sports coverage. It's the Raccoon Valley Radio.
The sun's trying to peek out a little bit, but it is just dark clouds and then some blue sky, and it doesn't quite know what to do. I'm still kind of shocked that I'm here on the day of the Covered Bridge Festival. I'm going to go to that kind of at the end of exploring. I saw there's a parade at 3 o'clock, so I figured that might be something to check out. So I'm bouncing around to the different bridges. One was in the park, which I didn't realize was in the park. And so that was cool. And then another bridge that was in the movie is in the park too. So there's 6 covered bridges. There's 7 total bridges that I wanted to see. I've seen 2 of them, and it's about a 10-mile drive out to the furthest east one, that IMES bridge. And so I'm just going to bounce around for a couple hours, seeing all these bridges, and then go to the festival. And I'm not quite sure how I'll put it together. So you may have watched that video already, and you'll see how I would have put it together. But as I'm driving around, I'm also kind of thinking, do I want to do it chronologically like I'm doing the trip, or do I want to do it a little bit out of order? Maybe I'll just kind of show all the bridges first, show the festival last, or, how does the park? I drove all around the park. I did a bunch of videoing in the park. The drive is nice. Maybe I'll do an extra video, like a bonus video from just to drive around the park. So, as I'm driving, I'm just trying to think of those things. You kind of understand when you hear about movies that get shot out of sequence, because just out of convenience, and then they put it together. You think, why wouldn't they just shoot a movie like from beginning to end? It would make a lot more sense. And I think probably they could if they would, but often for one reason or another, maybe where they're filming, what location they're going, just doesn't make sense financially or efficiently. And so I do the same thing. I often film things out of order, and then I have to kind of keep track of what I'm doing so I can later on go back and put it into an order that feels more natural. The last time I did one of these behind the scenes videos in Arkansas, I ended up at Warren, Arkansas, the day of their tomato festival. And it's like, the biggest thing there all year. So yeah, lucky. Check out these places when they're really busy and a lot going on. I'm finished filming for the day. I went to Francesca's house in the movie Bridges of Madison County. No trespassing, but I was able to take my drone and get a pretty good shot of the decaying house. Kind of sad, but probably fitting for the end of today and the legacy of that movie. So anyways, I talked about that in the video, in the Bridges of Madison County video that I did. So now I am heading to the hotel and got a little bit of daylight left, and I'm gonna mostly just go straight there. It's a big highway, but I might take a little bit of 2-lane road to get there. Like last night, if you noticed, I just started going through random towns. It happened to be on the way, and I really like doing that. And so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll find a couple random towns on the way to Leon, which is, and I have a small little hotel, like a motel, that looks pretty interesting there. So let's head on to Leon to end the day. Best water tower ever. There's no way I can top that town, so I'm going to end on that town. I'm not going to visit any more little towns today. I've got 50 miles to my hotel in Leon, Iowa, and there's only one restaurant open, Mexican place. I figure, what the heck, let's go to the one restaurant in the little town that I'm staying tonight. Really good dinner at Lebowitz, and they had a cool picture of the town, a painting of the town on the wall. So very nice. Was checked in earlier. You saw the hotel. Had a real nice conversation with the lady at the front desk. She asked what I was doing, so I told her and about the YouTube channel, and she said she thought she had seen me before. You know, there's other people that do videos like this. And so she couldn't remember if it was me or somebody else. I know that my channel's not that popular, where it's like I'm recognizable. But every once in a while, I do run into somebody who's watched a video, so that's humbling, and especially in a little town like Leon. But cool little town, very nice hotel, like small hotel. I love parking right in front of the door. It's one of my favorite things, going to a motel, parking right in front of the door. The one restaurant that was open, food was really good, and gonna go back and relax and start searching for some more of the smallest towns tomorrow. The sun is out. It is blue skies and sunny, I think, for the next 2 days, so I'm really excited about that. The only thing that's bad about that is that the last couple days when I've gone through these small towns, which I'm going to put it all into one video, of the smallest towns in Iowa, it's not, you know, there's no continuity. So it's dark and cloudy, and then the next one's sunny and bright, and, you know, the only thing that stays continuous is my t-shirt that I'll be wearing. So I don't know how many people think that or look at that and go, oh, that's obviously totally randomly different day. If you're at all familiar with my channel, you know pretty much the most popular videos on my channel, with a few exceptions, are the 10 smallest towns of each state. And I originally, you know, wasn't planning on doing a whole bunch of states. I just made it as a video for Kansas really early on in my channel when there weren't very many people watching it. And I thought that'd be a fun trip for Kansas. And then I did it for Oklahoma, and then things started growing, and I noticed, you know, people seem to like those videos. There's always this debate I have, it's not really a debate because I don't want to do it, is videos that are clickbait, right? And you've seen them where they have some picture and it seems kind of interesting and you want to click on it, but you click on it and it's really not what you think it is. And I've always wanted to try to make sure my videos and the thumbnails that I put for the videos aren't clickbait. I talk about this a lot with my friend Kurt, and I want it to be, you know, they click on it and it is what it says, and maybe I lose some clicks because of it, but that's okay with me. Just explored the smallest town in Iowa, Leroy, population 11, and now I'm heading to Beaconsfield, which is the second smallest. So I'm hitting number 1 and number 2 right in a row. Beaconsfield, I mentioned in the video, the smallest towns, is where Hy-Vee started the grocery store chain, which is huge, especially in Iowa. And to think it's had its start in that is pretty cool. I'm in a little town just driving through Garden Grove. I'm gonna have to drive through again and show you what it looks like. It's pretty cool. Can you imagine that jail? If that was, you're sitting there, everybody can come over and say, hey, I guess. But you're locked in that little thing. But yeah, so that's only, you only get that in the behind the scenes of Iowa here, because you know, there's all kinds of little towns like that. But I feel like I have a, you know, special connection. You know, how many people are purposely venturing to find the smallest towns in the state, and specifically the smallest town? And so I'm gonna always remember Leroy, and some of these other ones on the list in the 10 smallest towns, after time oh yeah, I went to that place, but you don't remember it. But I remember all the smallest ones of all the videos I did. I love doing these videos, the 10 smallest towns, and I hope to do all 50 states. I can tell you, Alaska is going to be tough. I have done a little bit of research on Alaska, and it's one of 2 states I've never been to, Alaska and Hawaii. And so I've been looking at Alaska, about going to Alaska sometime. And then I started looking at, you know, the smallest towns. I mean, you have to fly little planes to islands of which there's no roads, but that's my goal. I'm gonna hopefully make that happen someday. It might take about 2 weeks to find 10 towns. So anyways, continuing on, we got 4 more of the smallest towns to find today. Another great little town, Beaconsfield, and Elston, which is 7th smallest, is only a couple miles from here. And like I mentioned, these towns are all in this cluster, so obviously, you know, built along the railroads and rural areas, and when railroads stopped coming through here, these towns got a lot smaller. So convenient for me to get to them very easily, but also kind of tells you a little bit about what happened in this part of Iowa. Very descriptive dirt road. Maybe that's where Joe Dirt grew up.
What?
Talked with some older ladies in the area who were doing like landscaping and just organizing. Looked like they were the town leaders. One of the ladies told me she was on city council, and they were saying, "Are we going to be famous?" And I was like, "I don't think you're going to be famous." But they did have a pretty cool looking dog, and I got a little bit of video of the dog. But yeah, it's funny, like some people, their impression of what YouTube is. I've got a pretty small channel still, but they, you know, YouTube was like going to be, you know, famous. So we'll see. Maybe someday Elston, Iowa will become a booming metropolis once again, because Travel with a Wise Guy went there. I doubt it though. So I was heading towards Malloy, my next small town, and just stopping off these little towns, you know, along the way. And then I saw kind of off on a side road, it said Bohemian Cemetery. And I thought, that's kind of a strange name. The only time I've ever heard that word is in the song by Queen, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody. And honestly, I didn't know what that meant. Did you? Or have you ever just heard that song and just, you know, sang along with the song and that's what it was called? And then I looked it up and it said someone who is interested in the arts or unconventionally, you know, interested in the arts somehow. So I thought, I'm going to drive down this road. There's some Amish horse and buggy in this area. I passed a couple, and then I drove up to the cemetery, and it's kind of a, I don't know, very nice cemetery. I don't know if I'd call it artistic, but different. And so I don't know anything about it. Would this be a place where artists are buried? It seems like a strange place here to do that, but that's the name of the cemetery, and that's what it looks like. Heading to my last scheduled town of the day, Conway, Iowa. Population, I think it's like 17. It's been an enjoyable day. I've enjoyed going around to not only the towns, the smallest 10 towns, but the other towns along the way. Long conversation with a city council member from Conway. He lived there his whole life. I'm guessing he was 75, maybe 70, 80 years old. He knew all about the history. There's not a lot of recorded history, at least that I could find, about Conway, but it used to be a big town, like hundreds and hundreds of people, and now there's 17, and he could tell you every one of them. And he's seen it since when the railroad was here and when it got torn down, and when lumberyard was here and it got torn down, and he's still here. So interesting when someone decides to stay somewhere that basically became a ghost town. It was 423 people was the highest recorded population, and now 17. And it went from 41 to 17 in 10 years, the last 10 years. So certainly heading towards total ghost town status at some point. But anyways, we're going to take some back roads to the hotel, and kind of nice to get done a little bit earlier today. I've been out, you know, since this morning, going pretty steady the whole time, so we won't be getting in at sunset or in the dark, but yeah, it's been a good day. Let's go find a few more towns along the way. Right across from my hotel for the night, which is really nice. I paid a few extra dollars, but it's the last night of the trip. Thought I'd splurge a little bit considering it was cheap last night. But right across literally across the parking lot, there's a museum, Nottoway Valley. I don't know anything about this area. So I don't know if these are buildings from these towns that have the name on them, or maybe there's inside those buildings, there's things to look at from those towns. There's also a big museum here that is open, I guess, a couple days a week. Hey, there's a cool bridge. It's the final day in Iowa, and I only have two of the smallest towns to find, Hepburn and Coburg. And they're both population 26, and they're tied for 10th on the smallest town, so it'd be one of the first, ones in that video. Wasn't much to see in Hepburn, so but there was one building, an old bank building that was falling apart, but not too much else. But going on to the last town, Coburg, which hopefully has a little bit more. I did try to read up on it, and has some interesting history, maybe a couple old buildings, but that'll be our last one, and then I'll figure out what I'm gonna do after that. It's an interesting cemetery name. I didn't find the Plum Thicket Cemetery. It might be a joke, although maybe maybe somebody's buried in the cornfields, and that's their idea of a joke. But yeah, found a nice lake though. So that's the end of my travels in Iowa, at least all the towns that I've gonna document. I think I got 6 videos out of this trip. So the smallest towns, a ghost town video, the Fenelon elevator, that was a short one, Bridges of Madison County, the Field of Dreams, seems like a long time ago, and then the behind the scenes video. So it was fun. I really liked Iowa. I definitely want to come back again and explore, in the future, as I do. Hopefully this channel continues to grow. And it was, the small towns were great. And there were so many I drove through that I showed in this behind the scenes part that I would like to even, go back and revisit some of them more in depth. I'm not very good at the behind the scenes thing. I'm trying to film it, trying to do it a little bit different, maybe trying to give some detail here and there, but not re-showing what I've already released videos of. What do you like seeing? And I'm not one to take pictures of my food and put it on Instagram, but if that's really what you want to see, I guess, I can do some more of that. But just let me know if you're interested in this kind of stuff, what you'd like to see. Anytime I do one of these 10 smallest towns videos in a state, I might try to do something like this as well. So thank you very much for following along and riding along. And until next time, we'll see you later. If you want to see where I went, more specifically, watch those videos. But this is, and I just missed my turn because I thought I was going a little bit farther. I was going to say something else, but I forgot what I was going to say. Must need more coffee. Man, 5 days in this shirt. Woo!